Try this again. My phone keeps popping a data screen and stopping the video. Anyway, here at Gasoline Dreams, we are all about not buying things. And by that I don't mean necessarily being cheap, as far as is really more, fabrication skills, stuff. Somebody had to make tools to begin with, so why should I buy somebody's $300 cam bearing installation tool? Looked around the internet, as I'm sure most of you have, and saw the little all thread and washers and nuts thing. I actually tried that. Broke the all thread, went back to the Home Depot, bought stainless steel all thread. Just started tearing up nuts. The problem was when you get down here to the third bearing, and I used it to push out the old bearings, there's so much torsion on the piece of thread sticking out that it just wants to bow up. You could probably put a washer at this end. I saw one guy do that. But on top of that, it's just painfully slow, and you have to reset it up for every bearing. And yeah. Anyway, and I kind of got ahead of myself back there and put my cam plug in before the bearings went in, because the idea I had before didn't quite work out. So here's what we got. I spent a total of like $12 on this. If you don't have a piece of pipe laying around, it'll cost you more. This is the pipe I used. It's a little thick. It's 1 3/4 outside diameter. It's 1/4 inch wall. You won't need that thick. I mean, you're probably going to need thicker than like fence post, but you get what I'm saying. Anyway, I use these rubber expansion plugs. You get them at the auto parts store. You have to go to like O'Reilly's or something. AutoZone or Advance don't carry them. I'm sure like Napa, Flag, anything like any good auto parts store. You will need to weld. So, I try to keep the welder out of as much of the manufacturing of this stuff as possible, because I'm trying to share the knowledge, and not everybody has $700-800 to drop on a fucking MIG welder. But in this case, this was just the best way to do it. So basically, for those of you who don't know how this works, you tighten this bolt. See, there's washers on both sides of that. I actually took a washer off of this. But you got that bolt going through there, which has a nut on the end of it. And when you tighten that up, it squeezes up, expands, hence the expansion plug. Yeah, I'm a bit of a smart ass. Looking for this old cam bearing. Anyway, while waiting for my cam bearings to get here, used one of these old ones that got jacked up by my last attempt to test it. Okay, so basically, you put it on here. And any of you who have looked at cam bearing tools know you got a little nut on the end, tightens up. It's pretty much the same thing. But you'll notice I don't have a nut on the end. It's like, the reason I did that is because of Mr. Cam Plug. That, and I like things that work in repetition. Well, solution for that, get back here, long extension and a ratchet. Put it on the nut on the inside. As much as I hate when people talk about doing things one-handed on YouTube, I'm going to try to do this one-handed. Put that down in there. Get it on your nut. One of these days. I also have a little rubber grommet in there that I use to center up the expansion plug, so I knew it was dead in the center. Anyway, you get the point. Can't really get that on there one-handed. So then you got your, so you got your bearing on here. You know, you feed it through, you knock your bearing in, whatever. Well, you got your bearing in, all you got to do, loosen it up on the ratchet, pull it out, drop your next bearing in, tighten it back up, reload. Drop your next bearing in, tighten it up, reload. And because this pipe is so big, it pretty much keeps it centered in the bore. And because the expansion plug's rubber, if you tighten it up pretty decently, you don't have the end of it knocking up against it. But you do want to buy an expansion plug that's big enough to at least be as big as that on this washer right here. Anyway, I hope that was helpful.